Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to break down the official government blueprint for Spain's new high school curriculum. And you'll see, this isn't just a list of new subjects. Nope, it's a whole new way of thinking about what education is even for. So, let's just start with a really big question, one that this whole new plan is trying to answer. What is a high school education really for? Is it just about cramming for exams to get into college, or is there something bigger going on? Well, this new plan lays out a pretty clear vision. The goal is to get past just pure academics and start shaping well-rounded, thoughtful individuals. People who are actually ready to step out and engage with the world as it is today. I mean, just look at this list. We're not talking about memorizing historical dates or chemical formulas here. The core goals are things like fostering democratic citizenship and nurturing an entrepreneurial spirit. That signals a huge shift. It's less about what you know and way more about who you're becoming. Okay, so that's a nice goal, but how do you actually do that? How do you build those kinds of people? Well, the blueprint's answer comes down to a whole new framework built around this one big idea: competencies. First up, you've got key competences. Honestly, the best way to think about these is like the basic operating system for a 21st century student. They're the core skills you need to navigate, well, pretty much everything. Not just school, but as the plan itself puts it, global and local challenges. Then you drill down a bit to specific competences. These are like the bridge. They're the things that connect those big picture key competences to what you're actually doing in, say, chemistry class. This is how learning physics starts to build those bigger, more essential life skills. And finally, at the very foundation, you have basic knowledge. This is the stuff we all recognize: the facts, the figures, the formulas. But here's the absolute game changer. That knowledge isn't the end goal anymore. It's the raw material you use to build those higher level competencies. The whole curriculum, every single class, is built around 8 of these key competencies. And they're not meant to be in separate boxes. They're designed to be woven through everything a student does. And here they are. You can see it's a real mix. You've got your STEM and language skills, but right alongside them are things like citizen and entrepreneurial skills. The idea is you don't just learn about digital tools in a computer lab, you're using and developing those digital skills in history, in art, everywhere. Now this is where it gets really cool. You can actually see how students are expected to grow. So take linguistic communication. At the end of middle school, a student is expected to work with progressive autonomy. But by the time they finish high school, that word progressive is gone. It's just autonomously. It's one word, but it represents a huge jump in what's expected. All right, that's the theory. But what does it actually look like in a classroom? Let's take a subject we can all understand: learning a foreign language like English. Right off the bat, the goal has totally changed. It's not about memorizing verb charts anymore. It's about what you can do with the language. Can you communicate effectively? Can you understand another culture? That's what matters now. And to make that happen, the entire subject is built on these 3 pillars. You've got communication, which is the practical stuff, plurilingualism, which is about connecting English to other languages you know, and interculturality, using the language to actually understand a different way of life. Every lesson, every activity has to tie back to one of these. And this is the perfect example of that whole cross-curricular idea in action. Your English class is no longer just an English class. When you use online tools to research a topic, that's your digital competence. When you discuss cultural differences, that's citizen competence. It's all connected. So if you're going to change the goals of learning this much, you've got to change how you keep score, right? The old tests aren't going to cut it. Exactly. So the whole focus of grading and evaluation shifts away from just spitting back memorized facts. It's now all about demonstrating that you have the competence. Can you actually apply what you've learned to solve a real-world problem? That's the real test. And you can literally see this in the official grading rules. Check this out. In the first year of foreign language, you're expected to handle texts of a certain complexity. But in year 2, the expectation jumps to complex texts. And you have to deal with formal and informal registers and even different varieties of the language. The bar gets explicitly higher as you go. Okay, so let's zoom out. What does all of this add up to? What is the really big takeaway from this whole educational shakeup?
At the end of the day, this curriculum is a roadmap for a totally different kind of future. The whole point is to prepare students not just for a university entrance exam, but for a whole life of learning, of adapting, and of contributing to the world around them.
And they say it themselves, right in the official decree. The ultimate goal is to equip students with the tools they need to face the main global and local challenges. It's a pretty ambitious goal. Which really leaves us with one final thought, doesn't it? This whole blueprint, it isn't just a plan for what students need to learn, it's a profound statement about who society wants them to become. It's not just about knowledge anymore, it's about character. It's about shaping the next generation.